Imagine waking up tomorrow to a world where the human population has suddenly doubled. What would happen? A startling proposition, isn't it? Today, we begin a riveting exploration into a realm of the hypothetical, a thought experiment that takes us to the edge of possibility. The world we know is home to a staggering 7.9 billion individuals, a number that has been steadily climbing for centuries. This growth has been driven by advancements in medicine, technology, and agriculture. But what if, in the blink of an eye, this figure were to double? 14.8 billion souls sharing one solitary planet. This is not a prediction or prophecy, but rather a speculative exploration into the future of humanity. It's a question that probes at the very heart of our existence, our survival and our adaptability. To understand the impacts of this hypothetical scenario, we need to delve into the current state of our resource consumption. In our world today, resources are already stretched thin. As we look around, we see a planet in a constant state of hunger. Every day we consume millions of tons of food. Our appetite for sustenance is insatiable, and yet many go to bed on an empty stomach. Water, the source of life, is no different. Our thirst is unquenchable. We withdraw billions of liters of water each day from rivers, lakes, and underground aquifers. But while we drink and bathe, millions struggle to find clean water. In some parts of the world, water is more precious than gold. Then there's energy. We are a species of light and warmth. Our cities glow in the night like beacons, powered by massive amounts of energy. Yet despite our ingenuity, we are not so good at sharing this light. There are places on our planet that live in darkness not by choice, but by circumstance. The world is a stage, and resources are the props. But what happens when the props are not enough for all the actors? The answer is the play becomes a tragedy. Our food, water, and energy consumption rates are unsustainable. We're depleting resources faster than we can replenish them. We're draining our planet, and the consequences are already evident. Forests are shrinking, rivers are drying up, species are disappearing, and all this while our population is still what it is. Can you imagine what would happen if our numbers were to double? The pressure on our resources would be unimaginable. We would need twice the food, twice the water, twice the energy, but the Earth is not a supermarket. It does not have endless aisles of resources. It is a finite planet with finite resources, and we are already struggling to share these resources equitably. If our population were to double, these problems would only magnify. The stage would become too small, the props too few, and the tragedy perhaps too great to bear. Now consider a world with double the population. To truly grasp the ramifications of such a scenario, we need to extend our present consumption rates into this hypothetical future. Today, our world is home to just over 7.5 billion people. Double that and you have a staggering 15 billion people, all sharing the resources of one planet. Imagine our current food and water supplies. We're already grappling with food shortages in some parts of the world, and water scarcity is a looming threat in many others. Now imagine that we have to feed and hydrate twice as many mouths. With the current agricultural practices and water management, we would be hard-pressed to provide for everyone. Famine and drought could become commonplace, and the struggle for survival would be a daily reality for a significant portion of humanity. Next, consider our energy demands. Our reliance on fossil fuels is already causing environmental damage on a global scale. With double the population, we would need twice the energy. But where would this energy come from? We're already struggling to transition to renewable sources, and with twice the demand, this challenge would only grow more daunting. And finally, let's not forget about the environmental impacts. Our planet is already bearing the brunt of our actions. Deforestation, pollution, climate change, these are all realities of our time. Doubling the population would likely mean doubling these issues as well. More people means more waste, more emissions, and more strain on our already fragile ecosystems. The ramifications for the planet's biodiversity, climate, and overall health would be immense. Such a scenario paints a worrying picture of the future. It's a future where resources are scarce, where the environment is under constant strain, and where humanity is pushed to the brink. It's a future we must strive to avoid for the sake of our planet and our future generations. The strain on resources would not just lead to physical shortages, but also significant socio-political implications. As we grapple with the reality of an Earth teeming with twice its current population, the political landscape would undoubtedly reshape. Competition for dwindling resources could become fiercer, possibly sparking conflicts and creating shifts in global power dynamics. Nations with abundant resources might find themselves on the advantageous side, potentially becoming global powerhouses. The societal impacts would be equally profound. Poverty could rise dramatically as resources become scarcer and prices soar. This could in turn magnify income inequality, creating a wider gap between the haves and the have-nots. In a desperate search for better opportunities, we might witness an unprecedented wave of migration, further fueling social tensions and possibly leading to political unrest. In essence, the repercussions of a doubled population could ripple through every aspect of our society, stretching our socio-political fabric to its limits. A doubled population could thus potentially destabilize our world in more ways than one. The prospect of a doubled population is indeed daunting. As we've journeyed through this thought-provoking discussion, we've uncovered the immense strain such a scenario could place on our planet's resources. The specter of scarcity would loom large, with food, water, and energy needs, potentially outpacing our capacity to provide. Navigating the socio-political landscape of a world doubled in population would present its own set of complex challenges. Tensions could escalate and societal structures might crumble under the weight of demand. The fabric of our communities would be stretched, possibly to breaking point. Yet, in these reflections, we find an urgent call to action. It's a call that emphasizes the vital importance of sustainable resource consumption and population control. We must remember our choices today shape the world of tomorrow. While this scenario is hypothetical, it serves as a stark reminder of the challenges we face in our rapidly growing world. And with this understanding, we must strive to make decisions today that ensure a sustainable tomorrow.